Hi everyone, my name is Shannon and this is my channel, The Sewing Warehouse, where I talk to you about my dressmaking journey. And today I am going to show you how to install an invisible zip. So for this tutorial you will need your pattern pieces, your invisible zip and the invisible zipper foot. Let me get it close up. So the invisible zipper foot looks a bit like this. It can also have a rounded edge at the front, but most importantly it will have two little grooves, as you can see here, for the zipper teeth to go through. So make sure that when you buy an invisible zipper foot you get one that is compatible with your machine, because, well, obviously the needle will need to go through the hole, and not all zipper foot are compatible with all machines. So make sure you get the right one, otherwise you will still not be able to install it. So to prep for the installment of the zipper, what you're going to need to do is finish the edges of your fabric and where you're gonna sew the seam and install the zip. So either with an overlock stitch or a zigzag stitch, you can just neaten the edges separately before we get started. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the zip and I'm going to press the zipper teeth away from the zip tape, so it is easier for the zipper foot to catch them. So it comes like this. I'm just going to press this edge here so that it will lay flat a little bit more, and then we can get started on installing the zip. So once you have neatened the edges of the pattern pieces, you're just gonna sew right sides together, and you're going to sew from the notch where it will be on your pattern piece. From the notch down you will just sew with a regular seam allowance of the pattern, just with a straight stitch. You're going to sew down from there. Now it is time to put the zip onto the fabric. And you have to pay close attention here. So the right side of the zip is where you do not see any teeth. And that's going to go against the right side of the fabric. Now, make sure you pay attention to this. Alright, so we've got your pattern pieces here, right? Right side. This bit is sewn. This bit is open, is where the zip will go. So you put the right side of your zip against the right side of the fabric. You do one side first. So make sure that it is like this. So the edge of the tape will be lined up with the edge of the fabric. So not like this. Not like this where the tape is sticking out. See what I mean? Not like that, but like this. Lined up. Okay, so you want to make sure that where you're going to stitch right next to the teeth is obviously 1.5 centimeters from the edge, right? The seam allowance, so that you adhere to the seam allowance. That's important. So make sure you measure that out and pin it correctly, and also make sure that the top of the zip is 1.5 centimeters below the edge. If you do any more than that, there will be a gap when you attach the waistband, and you don't want that. So make sure everything that you're adhering to the seam allowance. All right, so let's pin this to the fabric, and then we will install the zipper foot and get sewing. Make sure you put the zipper foot at the right side of the zipper tape so that the needle actually sews through the zipper tape, as you can see here. So you're just going to sew in a straight line as close to the zipper teeth as you can until you reach the zipper pull and you can't stitch any further, and then you backstitch. To pin the second half of the zip, you need to pay close attention because you're still gonna want to sew it right sides together. So probably the easiest thing to do is close up the zip and then make sure you have it right sides together like this, and then you can pin it just do one pin in the top because then it will be easier to open the zip up back up. Floop. And then you just pin the rest of it as you should. So the zip is installed now, as you can see, quite invisible, and we are almost finished, but as you can see there's just this little bit sticking out here. So that's the end of the zipper tape. Because of the zipper foot catching the teeth, you found that you can't sew quite to the end of the zipper tape. So what we will have to do is we will just push this inside because there's going to be a hole here. We're going to switch to our regular stitch foot again. We're going to go right sides together, and you can't quite see here because I used white thread, but there will be the end of the stitching from the zip, which is here, and there will be the start of stitching from the seam, which is here. So we just have to bridge this gap. So we're just gonna use regular stitch, but gonna sew this gap shut, and then you will have an invisible zip.